Welcome to another episode of Shooting Science. On this episode, we are going to be taking a second look at Smith & Wesson's Bodyguard 2.0. Since my first video, I've put about 400 rounds through this gun, and it has broken in beautifully. And today, I would like to share with you some things that I've noticed on this pistol that many other YouTubers are not even mentioning. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So here it is, guys, 400 rounds later, and I didn't clean it on purpose. I ran it to 400 rounds without cleaning it one time over a couple of range trips. I will say that after about 350 rounds, it did start to have some failure to feeds. Take that as you should probably clean your Smith & Wesson Bodyguard after every 250 rounds or so. What I did is after about 350 rounds at the range, when it started to give me failure to feeds, I put a little oil on the rails back here in the back of the slide and kept running it. And then it had a couple more failure to feeds after about 20 more rounds or so. So it's dirty and it needs to be cleaned. I haven't opened the gun yet. We're going to do that right now on camera just to show you what it looks like. By the way, when I say it's broken in beautifully, everything is broken in. The slide is no longer a pain to rack. It racks much easier. I don't have to yank it as hard. I can do it from back here. It's just not as stiff. It's like buttery now. The magazines, I could barely even load them with the Maglula loader. I was having trouble loading them. The spring was so stiff, and now I can hand load the entire magazine. Let's load this 10-round mag. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Some difficulty, 10. There you go. And this thing, I could barely get 3 or 4 rounds in by hand when I first got it. And even the 4th round was tough, even using this. I had to push down with all my might. So the magazines definitely break in. The slide breaks in, and the trigger breaks in. So after we clean it, we'll measure the trigger. I just want to give it all clean first before we do that. All right, so now let's take it apart and see how the inside looks. It already feels really crusty, and the slide is moving kind of sluggishly. So we're going to go ahead and take it off and see how it looks. Yep, it's pretty dirty, pretty grimy. Let me go ahead and clean all that off real quick. You can see all this whitish gunpowder blast on here. Just going to rub it with a dry cloth first. Yeah, I didn't even put any solution on here. It just rubs off. I really like these serrations. They look so good. There's the slide that's all clean. You can see a little bit of wear here and here where the barrel is rubbing the back of the slide there. That's usual. Looks pretty good. Cleans up real nice. So now I'm just going to dab a little bit of bore cleaner on various parts of the frame so that I can wipe it down with a rag and get this thing all cleaned up. Looking good. See some wear happening right here, along here, and on all 4 of these posts here. A little bit on the edge there. This is how the barrel looks before cleaning. You can see it's really gunked up inside there. And for this, I'm just using Hops number 9 bore cleaner on a, whatever you call this, Q-tip thing from Amazon. And then once I get the bore cleaner spread throughout the inside of the barrel, I'll run it through with a bore snake. Much better, nice and shiny, all clean. You can also see a little bit of wear here underneath where it says 380 auto, and some wear on the other side here. So to help that along, I will put a thin light coat of oil or gun grease on those 2 areas. Super thin coat, that's all you need. Go ahead and do the whole barrel. And there you go. Here's the guide rod spring. As you can see, there's some wear on that as well. Looks fine to me though. One issue with the Bodyguard 2.0 is sometimes the spring gets on the outside of this piece right here. And mine is pretty close to doing that. Another unique feature I noticed about this gun is that in the frame, it has a built-in mini feed ramp that connects with the barrel. So the barrel sits right here. And as you can see, there's a feed ramp on the barrel and a feed ramp in the frame.
And they engineered it so that the feed ramp in the frame sits slightly in front of the feed ramp in the barrel so that hollow points don't get caught in between the 2.
But that's one trick they used to get such a low bore axis on this barrel, was to split the feed ramp into 2 and put the lower half of it in the frame. All right, let's put it back together again. Well, guys, it looks like it's happened to me too. The spring is on the outside of the guide rod assembly. That's not supposed to happen, but it is a common issue. It's supposed to be underneath there, like that. It's not supposed to be able to slip past this. So I was able to pull the spring back down and reset it underneath that piece. That's the only way you're going to be able to put the spring back in the gun. So I'll watch that. And if it comes apart, there's a warranty on it. I can just get a new one. All right, we're going to oil up the rails here. Put one back there and one right there. On that one, I'll just spread it around with my finger since I got a glove on. And that should be plenty of oil. All right, let's put the slide back on. Very nice. Nice and smooth. Much easier to rack now. Another thing that I noticed with this gun is during my initial unboxing of the gun, when the slide was open, I noticed that if you push down on this, it would not send the slide forward unless there was a round in the magazine, which is great. However, you can make it go forward if you pull it back a little bit and also at the same time push this down. Then it lets it go forward. So again, without a round in the chamber, if you don't want to take the magazine out, you can pull it back a little bit, and then with this thumb, push down on this and then let it go forward. So this is one of those guns that I'm not even tempted to change anything. Not even the grip texture. I don't need to add any sticky grips. This grip texture is perfect. It is just aggressive enough to be really grippy, even if your hands are sweaty, but not aggressive enough to where it's going to tear up your clothes if you're carrying it inside the waistband. You can definitely feel it on your belly or your back, and it lets you know it's there, but it doesn't cause very much irritation. The other amazing thing that I like to tinker with on guns normally is the trigger. However, this trigger is one of a kind. It is the only trigger that I know of that has this convex shape. Yes, it's a flat face, but if you look at it, it curves this way, the opposite way. Currently on the market, There's only flat, like perfectly flat.
And concave curved.
Nobody except for Smith Wesson has come to market with a convex curved trigger, and I love it.
It's like it opposes the curvature of your index finger.
And you can get like leverage on it. It's hard to explain, but it feels very good to pull. Speaking of the trigger, this was a 4 to 4.5 pound trigger when the gun was new. Now that I've sent 400 rounds through it, let's measure the trigger and see if the trigger got any lighter. I'm going to do several of these measures just to get a good idea of what the real trigger pull is. Just over 3 pounds. Let's do another one. Just under 4 pounds, a little over 3.5. Let's call that 3.75 pounds. 4 pounds. 4 pounds again. Well, just under 4 pounds. 4 pounds again. 4 pounds again. How did I get that 3 pound one? 3.75 pounds. Oh, there it is. Just above 3 pounds again. All right, so we can say this trigger is going to give you a pull between 3 and 4 pounds. So therefore, yes, the trigger does get lighter after you use it, which is really cool. Another reason why I don't really feel the need to change the trigger out. Not only is it a revolutionary trigger shoe design, it has a smooth take-up that's nice and light, and a very obvious wall, and a very crisp break that's between 3 and 4 pounds. And then the reset it's a little light. Maybe I would like it to throw my finger forward a little bit more than that. So that would be the only nitpick I would have, is the reset isn't that positive. Yeah, it's so light. It barely pushes on your finger to reset itself. Watch the slide here when I do the reset. Watch the slide. Kind of weird, right? There it goes again. So that's kind of quirky. The slide can be seen moving quite a bit on the reset. Okay. Well, the gun works great. I mean, I guess that's normal. I just have never really noticed that before on any other pistol, with the slide moving around that much on the reset. Interesting. So for Smith & Wesson to come out and design a brand new trigger shape, I applaud them for that, because it's different. It goes away from the thinking of, well, we've always done it this way. They're trying to push something. They're trying to push the boundary by making a completely different trigger shoe. And what's interesting is I've never really seen anybody else talk about this, but it makes a big difference in the amount of power and leverage you get on the trigger. And the slide moves forward when you pull the trigger too. So weird. Another thing I noticed was this takedown lever and then this mag release. They are super spiky. And you can get bits of cloth and junk in there. And the only way you can really clean those is with a nylon brush. Because if you try to clean that with a cloth, your cloth will tear up and get stuck in it. I have gotten a little bit of rust in there. I thought it was rust. It was rust colored. So I put a little bore cleaner on it and used the nylon brush and was able to get most of it out. Also, if you haven't seen it already, I did do another video on cheap $29 holsters that you can get on Amazon that are actually pretty good. I'll post a link in the corner of this video if you want to go ahead and watch that. This is one of the Amazon holsters. While it does not cover the mag release, it flares out right here. So when this is in my pants, I can push hard on this holster and the mag release is just, it's not getting pushed. It's just not happening. It never had an issue when I was wearing it with this holster. It never got depressed to the point where the magazine was loose. You know, something would have to like come underneath this lip and come in here and push really hard. The magazine release is actually pretty stiff. So I didn't have an issue with that because this part was against my skin. With my whole back or body being flat across this, even though it looks kind of weird to have that exposed, There was nothing on my body to push that in. This is the only gun that I own where I can fill this thing with 12 rounds and carry a regular clip, plastic clip like this on sweatpants, and the gun is still light enough to where it doesn't drag the sweatpants down. The gun barely weighs over a pound with 12 rounds fully loaded. Now, because it is so light fully loaded, one thing that I had to get used to as a shooter was compensating for recoil and returning the gun to flat after I would shoot each round. If I started shooting fast, I would actually overcompensate and start pointing the pistol down too much, and all my shots would go low. That's because I'm used to a bunch of other pistols that are much heavier than this. So if that happens to you, that's why. Just shoot it some more. Look, after 400 rounds, I got a lot better at pointing this pistol. I was like, man, this pistol's getting more accurate. It wasn't the pistol. It was just I learned how to hold it better and compensate for the recoil and how to return it back to zero better. All of those things are going to help improve your accuracy. It does take some getting used to if you're used to a bunch of other guns. If you're new to shooting, then you have nothing to worry about. Just get one of these and learn with this. I have massive hands that cover up the entire gun. So I just put my support hand in here and squeeze my fingers down with my palm. And then I put my thumb on this nice little grippy patch that they have stippled into the polymer frame, like so. And I squeeze hard with this left hand. And then this gun is super flat. If you didn't already buy the comp version of this, you don't need to go run out and buy the comp version. This thing shoots so flat. All it takes is you to hold it like this and clamp down with your support hand. And this thing, I mean, it barely flips if you hold it right, which that actually took me a while to kind of get used to as well. Even still, it wasn't even that snappy when I wasn't squeezing it really hard. It's just a great gun, very shootable, super easy to control. And all of those stiffness things I was talking about in my first video, they all went away. I don't have the safety. That is stiff for some people. But like I showed in my first video, there is a screwdriver trick where you can kind of massage the spring and get the safety to operate like a normal safety. Other than that, the magazines have broken in, the trigger broke in, the slide operation definitely broke in, and the whole thing is just so much easier to work and manipulate. It doesn't take my skin off anymore, although I do still appreciate these nice sharp serrations on the slide. It is just a wonderful pistol, and it's probably my favorite carry pistol right now because it just disappears. It's so grippy. The trigger's amazing. There's just nothing I would change on this gun. I mean, it's perfect out of the box. Well, sort of. Perfect out of the box after break-in, I will say. Also, with a fully loaded 12-round magazine, it still does not like to be loaded with the slide closed. Even if I squeeze it all the way up, it doesn't actually click. So the slide has to be locked open, and then this loads very easily. Very gently, very easily, it loads in. So that is an interesting quirk. It does not like to be loaded with the slide closed on a 12-round mag. The 10-round mag, you can jam it up in there. 12-round, you cannot do it. But super easy when the slide is open. All right, folks, that's all I've got for this one. I'm going to go shoot this gun some more. Maybe I'll do a 1,000-round review when I eventually get there. Until then, I'll see you on the next one.